This is the EasySMX Dune Wireless 8K Pro Controller. Is it good for fighting games? Let's find out. This is how the box looks like. It'll work for the Switch, PC, and mobile devices. It comes with this really cool UFO looking charging stand and a dongle as well. There's a USB-C connection here. You can use the included cable. Plug this in here, then plug this guy into your computer, and now you can play it wirelessly. Also comes with two longer stick caps, a cross-shaped D-pad, and an extra faceplate. And this is how the controller looks like. I mean, look at how cool it is. I've never seen anything that looks remotely as bold and strange looking as this controller. And I like it just because it's so different, right? You've got this gold faceplate here, and the handles are these paddings with the rails running around it. We also have LED lights as well. All right, let's get right into it. Let's talk about build quality and ergonomics. So in terms of build quality, this controller is really well built, even though it looks kind of strange and there's a lot of parts. But everything is just solid. There's really no flex at all. Now, in terms of ergonomics, I was a little worried about these rails here. And I was thinking that because this thing kind of sticks out, that it would dig into your palm when you use it for a long time, right? But after using it for a while, it's actually not a problem. The rail here kind of just rests in between the fold of my palm here. It's just like holding a regular Xbox controller actually. Alright, let's go around the controller real quick. Let's start with the sticks. These are TMR sticks, and in terms of tension, I would say these are on the lighter side. They rotate pretty smoothly because you can see here there are these rings around it, and it comes with two longer stick caps as well. The triggers and the shoulder buttons are Xbox style. They work really well. You can also lock the triggers. Triggers have medium tensions, I would say. For the shoulder buttons, you can click it from the inside or the outside. You do also have two extra shoulder buttons here, and I like these a lot. I think that these are a lot easier to reach than the shoulder buttons, to be honest with you. And you also have two back buttons here as well, and I really love the placement of these. They're a little bit higher, so your middle fingers can tap them real quick. Some other controllers would have a 4 back button setup, and usually the third and the fourth button is really awkwardly placed. Of course, if they're in the middle, they're going to be really hard to reach. And when they are on the sides like this, these buttons makes it really hard for you to grip the handles. So when you're using the controller and when you do motion inputs or something, you need to grip the handles for leverage. And when the buttons are here, you can't do that and you accidentally press them all the time. But with this guy, it's not a problem at all. Alright, let's get to the face buttons. These are micro mice switches, and same thing on the D-pad here. Now, I understand why people like micro mice switches, but I personally do not. And the reason being is that they are so shallow. There is no travel at all. And to make matters worse, this removable faceplate here not only is tall, but now they have these two islands that makes it even taller. Just look at how much room the face button has to travel now. It's literally like a millimeter of travel. Your thumb is gonna constantly hit against the faceplate. Now let's move on to the D-pad. You have this disc D-pad here. This disc D-pad sits above the faceplate, and the directions kind of angle upwards, so you don't have that problem of hitting the faceplate. Unfortunately, however, this D-pad is so bad, you can't trigger the diagonals with this D-pad. When I want to do down back and kick, look at that. He just does back kick. Sometimes I would able to pull it off, But most of the time though, the diagonal doesn't come out. So unfortunately, I cannot use this D-pad for fighting games. But the good news is you can get rid of it. And you can replace it with this cross-shaped D-pad. Now this cross-shaped D-pad is a lot better than this D-pad, and that's because you can actually feel your way around. I can finally do the diagonals with this D-pad now. However, unfortunately, if you look at the shape of the D-pad, it slopes down on the edges. And I'm the type of player that like to slide my thumb around the edges so I can feel where I'm at. So what happened when you have a slope down D-pad and a tall faceplate? Look at this. Now you got no room to press, no travel at all on the D-pad, and you have the same issue that you do with the face buttons now. But fortunately for us though, the faceplate is removable. So now look at how tall the D-pad is and also how tall the buttons are. We can finally press the buttons without hitting the faceplate. Same thing with the D-pad. I can finally feel my way around now. So if you're gonna get this controller, unfortunately you're gonna have to play it like this. As soon as you take out the faceplate, this controller becomes 10 times better, 10 times more usable, I would say. Unfortunately though, the D-pad is on the looser side. You can kind of see how much it moves around, right? Now I trigger the diagonals too much. In one of my Brett Wong's combo, I have to hold down. And unfortunately though, in the heat of battle, I would hold down and then pull it to the left a little bit, like that. Look at this. I'm triggering a diagonal back instead of down. So you have to be precise and only press down this way. Because the D-pad is a little loose, it may not be the best for cardinal direction accuracy, but that same looseness makes it really good for motion inputs. I can do all of my combos, no problem. Quarter circles and double quarter circle movements are super quick. 360s and 720s are awesome on here as well. And the reason why motion inputs is really good on this D-pad, aside from it being a little loose, that's because there's a pivot here. As you can see, I cannot press it down the middle. So yeah, I would say this D-pad on this controller is probably better for 2D fighters than it is on 3D fighters. In terms of controller adjustments and mappings, everything is done through this display right here. Just press and hold this for 3 seconds. There we go, you get into the menu. Initially, you're gonna have to go to the upper right option here to change the language. It's default in Chinese for me, so you gotta change it to English. Under config, you can map the buttons, single buttons, and then also the extra buttons here. The cool thing is you can map multiple buttons on here. And also this is how you program macros as well. For the sticks, you can do all sorts of adjustments here. You can also set the dead zone for the triggers. And this guy also has motion control as well. And you can set the polling rate from 1K all the way up to 8K. This feature is fantastic and you can do everything on the controller. However, I do wish that there is actually an app as well for the PC, because as of right now, to update the firmwares on this guy is a lengthy process. You gotta download separate files and they have all separate programs and software to do it. If you have a universal app, you can just do it all there. Alright, let's go to Gamepadla to take a look at the input lag test. On wired, it goes up to 7,254 Hertz. That's insane. Button latency is about 1.5 milliseconds, very good. And a little under 6 milliseconds for the sticks. Jitter is very good for both button and the joysticks. For the dongle, is a little bit slower. It gets up to 3000 Hertz, which is still super fast. A little bit slower than wired for button latency at a little bit over 2 milliseconds here, and for the sticks at 8 milliseconds. And jitter is still not bad. When you're playing on the wireless dongle, the performance is still really good. Now for Bluetooth, it only goes up to 160 Hertz. And of course, you have really bad latency for both the button and the sticks. So if you're going to get this controller, do not use Bluetooth, but on wired and the dongle are very usable. Alright, final thoughts. This is another case why removable faceplates are not a good idea. With the faceplate on, it's almost unusable, to be honest with you, just because there's next to no travel at all on the buttons. Look at this. But fortunately for us, we can remove the faceplate and use it without it. However, this is kind of ugly, right? It doesn't look like a complete controller. It will improve the usability of the controller though. And I get the appeal of being able to swap out different faceplates, but I don't think it's worth it. I feel that the controller's functionality is more important than aesthetics. But then again, the main selling point of this controller is the aesthetics, right? It looks really cool, it looks very different and unique, but you have to have a balance. You have to have a good performing controller first, and then you can add on to the aesthetics. So yeah, if you're gonna get this controller, I think it's really cool. Just remove the faceplate when you play it, and it'll be pretty good for 2D fighters like Street Fighter 6. Alright, hopefully you found the video to be helpful. If you did, give it a like, subscribe for more, and take care now.